and welcome to my channel, and I am Stephanie, and this is the week 4 of April's wrap-up, which is April the 22nd till the 30th of April, which is the last day of April, which is today, and this will be going up tonight. Fingers crossed that I get everything done. As I said, this is the last week of April's, and a day. 2 days actually, because usually I stop on Saturdays, but this one stops on Monday. And it's also the last day of the Spring to It Videoathon / VEDA, and I must say I did pretty good, but I will give you all those details about how I did in this videoathon during my April wrap-up, which will be released on Thursday, so you guys can look forward to that. I will have another video up tomorrow, which is the first day of May. Not sure what it's going to be as of right now, but there will be one that is placed out there. So let's just get to what I read in the last week of April, because there are a lot, and I really crammed in some on this last day. So the first book that I read last week was Fixed on You, which is Fix number 1 by Laurelin Paige, and this was I classify it in erotica. I gave it 4 stars, and I listened to it on audiobook. This book is about Hudson and Lainey. Yes, Elena. And this just teases you about how crazy people can be. So Elena is a bartender who wants to be a bar manager, and she likes to have sex. And Hudson happens to be this very rich guy that decided to buy her bar. And they start this like tumultuous sort of weird relationship, and both of them have crazy issues, like some serious issues, and it just goes from there. I enjoyed it. I do look forward to jumping into the rest of the series, but this first one didn't like grab me to the point where I was like, I got to read the rest of the series. I will eventually get to it, I just haven't yet. The next book I read was A Beauty Queens by Libba Bray, and it is a YA story. I DNF'd this book because it was horrible. Horrible. I tried to listen to it on audiobook, and I DNF'd it at 45 minutes out of the 14 hours and 37 minutes that it should have been. My only thoughts on that is that I don't know if Libba Bray narrating was the best thing ever, because if the story and dialogue was supposed to come off as sarcastic and funny, it just came off sarcastic. It wasn't very funny. So the story is supposed to be that beauty queens get into a plane accident and they're stranded on an island. So it's sort of Miss America meets Survivor. And yeah, that whole 45 minutes was just like, what? Am I supposed to like any of these characters? Because I don't. The next book I read was His Lady Bride, which is Brothers in Arms number 1 by Shayla Black. I placed this into historical romance. I gave it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and I really enjoyed this book. This book reminds me why shows like Outlander and The Rain and The Queen and all things European back in the day history is all about. I mean, like, seriously. So you have Arik, who is this warrior that is sort of hiding himself off into this little village and this little shack and everything like that. And you have Gwyneth, who used to be a lady, but then her parents die, and she is sort of being taken care of by her uncle. Her uncle's like, you need to go live and marry that Arik guy, because he is crazy, he's a witch, he's a sorcerer, and he can bring the rains back to the land and things like that. And then their back and forth is just fun, and yeah, yes, I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was All For You, which is Rebel Desire number 3 by Fabiola Francisco. I placed this book in contemporary. I give it 4.5 stars. This book follows Jason, who was the bass player for the Rebel Desire. And Cassidy Ray and Ray. Ugh. Cassidy Ray is such a good mom. She's a single parent and she just wants to do what's right for her daughter, Ray. And I just loved the banter, the strength that she had. Even though she was being given possibly everything that she could ever want on a silver platter, she was sticking to her guns that, you know what, she wants to be independent, she wants to take care of herself and her daughter, and even though I have this good thing, do I rely on the good thing and just let go of being me? And throughout the story, throughout their journey, you got to see the soft side of Jason and how he was willing to allow the trust to be built in their relationship, because he had just recently been burned as well. So it was such, I just loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. The next book I read was Come Together, Cityscape number 3 by Jessica Hawkins, and I placed this in dark romance. I give it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this is the conclusion of Olivia and David's journey. Wow. So I have said in the previous reviews for this series that it's very triggering. It's still very triggering, but I definitely could relate to and understand some of the things that were going on in Olivia's life and why she did the things she did. And you know what? It really boils down to, you must have communication in any relationship that you have. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. Yep. Relationship, you have to communicate in them. And damn, Bill was a douche. He was a douche in the other 2 books, and he's a real big douche in this book as well. Just my thoughts. Next book I read was Dear Heart, I Hate You by J. Sterling. I placed this in the new adult category. I give it 4 stars. It was an audiobook. This book was fun, and it really gives you this feeling of how a cross-country relationship could and possibly work. So you have Jules, who lives in California, and you have Cal, who lives in Boston. And Jules is over in Boston for a conference when she meets Cal, and they sort of hit it off, and they take it really, really slow. She doesn't want to come off as a hoochie, so she doesn't sleep with him the first night. It's not insta love. And then she goes home to California, but they decide to go ahead and, you know, still conversate, see what they have going on. I placed it in new adult because both of the characters are around that 25 to 27-ish age frame, and they are both trying to sort of find themselves in work and possibly love, if there is love, and, you know, things like that. So I really enjoyed it. The next book I read was Blood Type number 1 by K.A. Linde. This is a paranormal romance, and I gave this book 4.5 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, but I also had it as an ARC. This book follows Raina, who is, the whole story is that we are sort of, I don't want to say post-apocalyptic, but it is definitely futuristic world, and we are living amongst vampires, and vampires pretty much have this higher supreme, you know, nature to them, that they are the all beings, what have you. Well, Raina, in order for her to live and for her family to live, she decides to go in and be in service to vampires. And yeah, I wasn't really feeling her initially, and I'm still sort of on the fence about her. She sort of comes off whiny throughout the entire book, but I did enjoy the fact that it progresses. The whole story progresses. And you have Beckham, who is a vampire that is part of the company that is trying to pretty much rule the world, and vampires and things like that. But he takes on Raina as his permanent sort of feeder, or no, he feeds off of her. That's how it is. I'm not really big into paranormal romance, so the whole vampire human thing, feeding and blah blah blah, yeah, I'm new to it, and I did not feel their sexual chemistry throughout the entire story. I wasn't feeling them as a couple, but I liked their sort of stories individualized. I did feel that Beckham was a douche for pretty much most of the book. But I do want to get my hands on the next book in the series because I gots to know what's gonna happen. Gots to know. Gots to know. The next book I read was Winter's Heat by Cristin Harber, and this is book number 1 in the Titan series. I placed this in a romantic suspense. I gave it 4 stars. I listened to it on audiobook, and this follows Colby and Maya. Colby is an operative who is sent to an airport to pick up a package. Maya happens to intercept that package, and she, you know, is also being tailed by some very bad men. Very bad men. So Colby takes her under his wing, and yeah, things happen from there. It is very insta-lovey, but at the same time, you sort of feel it. Kinda, sorta, maybe, a little. And I wanted a little more from it. I did enjoy it. It does knock off my whole being an action adventure romance, so I'm really happy about that for my genre-a-thon. So yeah, I am gonna probably listen to the rest of the series because they are available. The next book I finished reading was Struck from the Record number 4 by K.A. Linde, and I placed this in contemporary. I gave it 4 stars. Listened to it on audiobook, and this is Clay and Andrea's story. This can be read as a standalone from the series of the Record series, but Clay is Brady's brother, younger brother, and you get to find out more about Clay. So you met Clay in the Record series, book number 1, 2, and 3, and for me, Clay and Andrea in those books came off as sort of brash. I did find his flirty and charisma throughout that book series, and that's why I really wanted to read his book. And now I really do understand Clay a little bit more on some of his actions that he had. And also, I understand Andrea a little bit more because I thought she was a bitch in the 3-book series. And now to find out their story together is actually, I don't love her, but I don't hate her as much as I did. I don't think she's as much of a bitch as I thought she was. And, you know, she's just a really good character. I did enjoy their series, or their story, their standalone story. I mean, it's like 15 years worth of love. Do you just give it all away when, you know, the game changes? So, yeah. Then I started a series of serials, and it is the With Her Billionaire series by Ellen and Dominick. And I have actually did 6 books in the series, or 6 short stories in the series, and I have read 4 of them and hope to complete the other 2 by this evening. Right now, the star ranging is about a 4. About a 4. I am almost done with the 5th book in the series, and it's sort of going downhill. So it may end up being like a 3.5 series overall. But you have Matt, who is this white guy. He's the billionaire. And you have Penelope, who is this very sweet and nerdy sort of black chick. They meet when they both get stuck in a library, and yeah. It really drew me in the beginning. I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. Then some stereotypical type action started to happen, and now I'm to the point where Penelope is doing some things that I'm just like, girl, what you doing? Why are you doing it? And Matt, I'm like, Matt, you're killing me. You're killing me. And then some of their issues that they're having, they're very stereotypical, but not like stereotypical in a good way. They're stereotypical in a bad way. It's like, really? Why? Why? So those are the books that I read from April the 22nd to April the 30th. As I said, it was a lot. I don't even have a count. I'm going to bundle that last serial as 1, and the count comes out to 10. 10 books in like 10 days. So almost a book a day. Yes. Have you read any of the books that I just named off? If so, let me know down in the comments what you thought of them, what your feelings are on them. If not, does my description sound like something that you want to read? As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Also, there is a feedback form down in the description box so you guys can help me improve my channel. Thank you for watching, and we will see you guys later.